So we are in OpenStax statistics, and this is chapter 9, where we're going to be talking about hypothesis testing with one sample. And in this video, we're going to talk about just section 9.1, where we're going to discuss the null and alternative hypothesis. So first things first with the null and alternative hypothesis. So this is like the starting place of all hypothesis tests, right? So like before anything, there must be hypotheses, right? So there's always two. There is this H with this sub-zero. We call this H naught. This is called the null hypothesis. And it's a statement of no difference between the variables. They are not related. So this can often be considered the status quo, and as a result, if you cannot accept the null, it requires some action. Then we have this H sub A. Now, I'll say that I find you could see either a lowercase a or an uppercase a. It doesn't really matter. This is the alternative hypothesis, and it's a claim about the population that is contradictory to the null hypothesis H naught. And it's what we conclude if we cannot accept H naught. So typically, this is going to be what we're trying to prove. So hypothesis tests have to start with hypotheses, and these are always the starting hypotheses. So after you determine which hypotheses the data supports, you make a decision, and from there are always just two outcomes. You either reject H naught, which means that the sample data favors the alternative hypothesis, or you fail to reject. Another way to say that would be you decline to reject. And this means that the sample data is insufficient to reject the null hypothesis. Now, notice this says nothing about accepting anything. It's either reject or fail to reject. This language is pretty important across all statistics classes, and so you want to just like notice this exact language right out of the gate. Okay, so when we talk about hypotheses, so there's a pretty predictable like setup with them. So typically what happens is, so your H naught will either get an equals to, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. And then your H sub A, your alternative hypothesis, kind of gets the opposite of that. So if H naught is equal to, the alternative is not equal to. If the H naught is greater than or equal to, then the H sub A is going to be less than. And then if it's less than or equal to, then it's going to be more than. So this side always has the or equal to or an equal sign associated with this, and this tends to be the opposite. So this is always a sign with the equal sign. Now, I will say sometimes we might choose maybe one in this column. A common thing to see would be you have an equals to, and then maybe you choose a less than or a more than. I think this kind of depends on the book that you're working out of. Some books seem to go very strictly in terms of always going in the opposites. OpenStax book can kind of mix the two. And a lot of times it doesn't really necessarily matter, but just a heads up on that. Okay, so now that we've kind of talked about just the general idea with this, let's pivot into trying to understand how do we actually set up these hypotheses. Okay, so here's the situation. So a researcher would like to know, or would like to show, that more than 30% of registered voters in Santa Clara County voted in the primary election. So this is what the researcher is trying to prove. Okay, so the status quo is typically going to then be the opposite of that. So if this is what you're trying to show, that it's more than 30%, look at how the null hypothesis has been set up. No more than 30% of the registered voters in Santa Clara County voted in the primary election. And so obviously we are talking about percentages. That's a proportion. So hypothesis tests can do with means or proportions. So here I choose a proportion is less than or equal to 0.30. Okay? Versus the alternative, more than 30% of the registered voters in Santa Clara County voted in the primary election. Okay, so again, that aligns with what the researcher thinks is true and is trying to show. And so then notice, right, so in terms of notation, so now it's opposite signs. So in general, this is kind of the structure. Your H sub A is typically what you're trying to prove, and then your H sub naught is typically the opposite. And again, your H sub naught always has that or equal to associated with it. Okay, so let's look at a few more examples. Okay, so just working with symbols now. So we don't always have to show the hypotheses with a sentence. We can also represent it with just notation. Okay, so we want to test whether the mean GPA of students in American colleges is different from 2.0 out of 4.0. Okay, so first of all, notice we call out the mean. So the hypothesis is, of course, dealing with mu, means. And so, okay, now the other thing to notice here is as far as what we're trying to prove, so the researcher is trying to prove just that it's different, right? Not that it's more than or less than. So just to be different would be equivalent to saying not equals to. So this is telling me what I want to set up for my alternative is to use a not equals to, not equal to 2.0. And then of course my H naught will be the opposite. Okay, so just trying to develop that appreciation for this setup right now. What about the next one? We want to test if college students take less than 5 years to graduate from college on the average. So on the average means we're going to be dealing with mu. And then we're talking about we want to test whether it's less than 5 years. So notice I have mu is less than 5. That's my alternative. And then I can back into my null. So you see how that works? Okay, so now let's look at a slightly more complicated example because usually these examples have a bunch of stuff going into them. So suppose that a recent article stated that the mean time spent in jail by a first-time convicted burglar is 2.5 years. A study was then done to see if the mean time has increased in the new century. A random sample of 26 first-time convicted burglars in the recent year was picked. The mean length of time in jail from the survey was 3 years with a standard deviation of 1.8 years. Suppose that it is somehow known that the population standard deviation is 1.5. If you were conducting a hypothesis test to determine if the mean length of jail time has increased, what would be the null and alternative hypothesis? And then we're just going to assume for now that the population is normally distributed. Okay, so this is now getting us into a little bit more of like a real world situation. So we have here this status quo. An article is telling us what the status quo is. So the mean time spent for a first-time convicted burglar is 2.5 years. This is telling me something about the status quo and what the null is going to be. The next sentence then is we're interested to see, so we want to see if the time has increased. So that now is helping me determine what my alternative needs to be. Now you might be wondering, what about all this other information? Because we have 26 convicted first-time burglars, and we have the mean jail time, and all of this is not part of the status quo, right? The status quo is that it's 2.5 years, so this is what we're testing around. Now, the rest of this information is what we're going to build to through this video series of what do we do with the rest of this information. But it's very important when you read these, just to get started, that you can figure out from here, what's the status quo and what am I building the status quo around? So in this case, so your status quo, there's two ways you can kind of think about this. So we are talking about mean jail time, and we said we wanted to see if it's increased from the status quo. So you'll notice here, right, my alternative is this mu is greater than 2.5. Now, like I said, it's not always necessarily perfect in the OpenStax book. So the OpenStax book really now goes hand in hand with what the article said. The article said that the mean jail time is 2.5 years, right? It is 2.5 years, which would mean that it's strictly equal to. Now, if you want to set it up like this is fine. You don't have to have this perfectly opposite set of criteria, or you can also set up this other way. So I would say either would be fine. I guess it kind of depends on the teacher. To me, I would think that these are about equivalent. But the big thing, right, is what are you doing with your alternative hypothesis? And what are you building this around? Around that 2.5 years. So those are kind of your big takeaways. Okay, so same thing. So now this is on you, okay? So the National Institute of Mental Health published an article stating that in any 1 year period, approximately 9.5% of American adults suffer from depression or a depressive illness. Suppose that in a survey of 100 people in a certain town, 7 of them suffered from depression or a depressive illness. So if you were conducting a hypothesis test to determine the true proportion of people in that town suffering from depression you're trying to determine if that's lower than the general adult population. What would the null and alternative hypothesis be? Okay, so notice here, we're not talking about means. We are talking about proportions. And I think you should know enough to be able to set up your null and alternative hypothesis. Pause here, write something down. Math is not a spectator sport. You will not get anything out of this if you don't try. Hit play when you're ready. Okay, drum roll. All right, so we have that they said that in any 1 year period, 9.5% of American adults suffer from depression. So that's kind of like an is. So you could either put that as P equals 0.095, or you could just do greater than or equal to 0.95. But the thing is, right, so again, we want to test whether that proportion is lower in this town. So we're saying the proportion is lower because that's what we said, right? It's lower than the percent of the general population. So this is what we're trying to test for. Okay, cool. And so that gets us just to the general idea of hypotheses. So that was what we wanted to get out of this video. We will continue to build on this in the next videos. See you there.